Good morning, everybody. My name is Joshua Boatman, and I am the Regional Technology Director for the Ohio Valley region. And in today's regional command training, we are going to talk about the Referrals Applet. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen while I chit chat. And hopefully everyone's seeing my screen. I refer to the Referrals Applet as kind of the Tinder of Keller Williams, as it were. The Referrals Applet is basically our way of allowing you to stay connected to, or to build a connection and a relationship with every agent across the United States that's a Keller Williams agent. Everyone that is in command, which is all the Keller Williams agents, they all are tied into the Referrals Applet. This is a way for you to share those outbound referrals and find the right agent for your client that might be moving to Florida or moving to Texas. This is also going to be a great opportunity for, there's also going to be a great opportunity for you to build out your referral profile. So that way, if someone's moving into your neck of the woods where you do sell, where you sell a lot, agents can find you and pick you. So as always with every command training, I always quickly want to point out, if we click the red KW in the left-hand side, this is going to bring up a list of all the applets by name. So you'll always have the symbols, the icons, but I like to see the names. And we're going to spend a lot of our time today in the Referrals Applet on the left-hand side. But the first place we're going to jump into is actually going to be the settings of your command. So if we go in the upper right-hand corner here, you can see you're going to drop down your name, and we're going to go to Profile. Now, this screen is actually going to be the screen that anyone who actually pulls you up within the Referrals Applet, this is what they're going to see. So they're going to see this picture. They're going to see your background. They're going to see your biographies. They can potentially see how many years you've been with KW. So here you can see I'm just a guy who loves Jesus, technology, and real estate, right? Your service areas, your contact info. So one of those things, just like if you're out there on the Tinder game or the Bumble game or the Hinge world, whatever it is, you want to make sure your profile looks the best, right? This is just like your profile on a website. If a client is going to pick you, you want to put as much effort into this because this is where another agent is going to pick you. If we hit edit profile on the right-hand side, this is where we can adjust all this information. So we want to make sure that, we have our correct phone number, the areas we service, our email address, our biography, any Facebook links that we want to include, as well as if you want to be a part of the referral network. That is, if you want to show up in someone's search, you need to make sure that you are opted in, that this slider is selected to green. In addition to that, you can control what shows up. So here, for instance, I have my time with KW showing, but I don't have any closed units or listings sold or buyers or whatever. I don't have that displaying on my profile, but I absolutely could do all of that and save those changes. And then that information will start to display on my profile once I have it. I don't have any closings or anything like that to display, but then that would be available on the main profile. So just kind of always want to point that out. Definitely, like anything, take time to build out your profile. Everyone hates writing about themselves, but if you write a good profile, it's something that you can use a lot on across multiple sites. Just obviously make sure you tweak it here and there. So we're going to jump back into command. So to do that, we're going to click command in the upper left-hand corner. And now we are going to pop into the Referrals Applet. So when we first go into the Referrals Applet, it's going to take us into the dashboard. Now, this is just going to be your summary of what's going on within your referral world, right? You're going to see if you have any pending invites, which are basically invites to your referral network. Here you're going to see, do you have any pending referrals? This is going to be any referrals that potentially you may have sent out and or someone may have shared to you, right? Have you accepted those referrals? You'll see, do you have any referrals that you have received? And how many referrals have you actually sent out, right? So kind of keep this in mind. This will change depending upon how you utilize the network. Below this is actually going to show you your referral network. So here you can see that I've built out a referral network with a couple people within the region. So here I have Rachel Vaughn, and if I drop it down, I get a little bit of information about Rachel, right? Her contact info, her email. Here's her agent stats, if she has any sales in the last 12 months, all those good things. And then right now, referral statistics, we don't have built out yet, but this is actually going to be pretty cool because you're going to be able to see her success rate with referrals and things like that. We can always create a private note that in relation to Rachel, if there's notes we want to make sure when we reference Rachel, or maybe we have multiple agents in the same area in Ohio, but we want to only use Rachel for certain kind of referrals, we can create a private note that only we would see. And of course, we have the same thing here for Rick. Here you can actually see Rick has some agent stats. So in the last 12 months, he's done 7 transactions, 1.6 million, average deal size, a little over 230. You can build out your referral network. And as you find agents that you have built relationships with, you'll be able to add them to this network if they accept your invite. And then it's just a quick and easy way for you to send someone specifically a referral than having to search for them or type in their name. The next section we're going to talk about here at the top is going to be the My Referrals. So this is actually going to show you any and all outstanding referrals you have. So by default, it puts us on pending. So I have no pending referrals, but you'll kind of notice here over here on this filter bar, I have the ability to see active. So you can see I have 4 active referrals. So when I click on that, it's going to pull up a list of the referrals screen itself. So here you can see that I've sent out 3 referrals, right? So here you can see I've sent a referral to Rick, Marshall Mathers, out there. He's trying to move, in Detroit, Michigan. And here's the referral information that I've sent to Rick, right? I'm requiring a 90% referral fee. The price range is between $1 and $5. I sent it a little almost 2 months ago. And his time frame to moving was well within 1 month. Now, within the screen, this is our referrals information, right? Here's our client info and here's our referring partner info. I can also click notes and updates. And this is where I can trade notes back and forth with Rick. So for instance, when I sent the referral, I also included a note to Rick, hey, you'll thank me later. And then he responded back through the referral applet. And anything he does within this referral, I'm going to get notified. And that's actually one of the cool things I want to point out with utilizing the referrals applet within Command. If you notice in the left-hand corner, the lower left-hand corner, it's telling me what the pipeline phase is. One of the things that can be done when you share a referral with someone, you can make a request to them and say, hey, I want to make sure you create an opportunity tied to this referral. When you do that, what's really phenomenal about that is as they move that opportunity through the pipeline, you'll get the update of the phase. So that way at a glance, I can see, the one I sent Rachel for Marshall as well is inactive, but with Rick has already moved the client all the way through the under contract phase. Here's one for Rachel that I've sent, and this is in the appointment phase, right? So what's really nice about that is versus having to hound the referring agent or even talking to the client, you can quickly get a quick update on what's going on, right? And what's really nice is if you have a great relationship, you can sit there and, have these notes. So that way you can kind of tell Rachel in this case, hey, would you mind just sending me maybe a weekly note? Or if I want a quick update, I don't have to call her. I don't have to text her. I don't have to do anything like that. I can just quickly add a note and just say, just checking in. I hope it is going well. Thank you, Grammarly, for making me look smart. And I can just send an update. And what's really nice about this, utilizing Command to send these updates back and forth, while you could place the phone call to the agent, you could text them, you're always going to have a record of all the updates and all the information at your fingertips, right? You're not going to have to cycle and look for that, search for that one email or search for that text chain when you're talking to your client and they want an update. So this is just kind of a really, really cool thing. Of course, like here, the 3 little dots, just so people are aware, this just basically takes us to the update log, right? This is just going to kind of show us like, hey, when it was created, when she accepted it, when we send an update, not the actual contents of the update so much so. I mean, we're going to see it here a little bit, but we're not going to see what update Rachel did because these were just some automated ones initially, right? So she created the opportunity. So this is just kind of like your timeline, your activity log with the referral. And of course, send update would be just what we did here. We could send an update. It's pretty neat, pretty powerful. And that's just the My Referrals, section. All right, so as we continue to move across to the right, oh, actually, you know what? Let me jump into filters real quick on My Referrals. Always forget to talk about filter. If we click on filter, this just allows us to really filter down by the referrals we have. Do we just want to see our buyer referrals? Do we want to see our seller? Do we want to see, was it a regular referral? Was it a broadcast? Is the client marked as pre-qualified, pre-approved? We can filter by the referral fee and even the price range, right? So if you have tons of referrals and you just kind of want to focus in on a few things, you can actually use these filters to do just that. Always want to remember to talk about that. All right, so now as we move across to the right, we're going to jump into the map. And the map's actually a pretty cool feature. So the map is where you can do a couple different things. So we have this drop down to the right, where by default, it's going to show us production. We can view by market center, we can view our network, and we can view our referral patterns. So for instance, if we were to do my network, you're going to notice what it does is it's going to put the location of that market center where those agents are that are in our referral network, and it shows their little pictures. So you can imagine as you build out your referral map or your network and you come to this screen, you're going to kind of see all your clients, or not all your clients, all your referral partners that are scattered across the country. Kind of a pretty cool thing. But let's jump back into production. So let's say we have a client that wants to move to New Orleans, right? Let's do New Orleans. It's going to take us to New Orleans, and we're going to immediately get taken to a section on the map of New Orleans, and we're going to see all these green circles with numbers. Now, these do not represent agents. This is not saying that there's 449 agents in this little dot. There's 350 agents. What it does do, though, is it represents transactions of Keller Williams agents within that area. So, for instance, over here on the right-hand side, we're going to see that there are 541 agents represented within this map, right? So one of these agents is going to be part of one or multiple transactions. Just so you're aware, by default, whenever we do a search, it always sorts it randomly. You can come over here and you can sort it by first name, last name, closed units, listings sold, buy sides, leases. You can sort it by that, but by default, we always sort it by random just because we don't always just want to have a default to whoever sold the most. And then, the rich get richer, as it were, if that makes sense. So that's why everyone kind of gets a fair chance. But what you're going to notice is as we zoom in on this map, these are going to start to turn into little green dots. Nope, we're still too far out, right? If we go further and further in, let's keep going. And let's say we're looking for a specific area, right? Let's go just a little more so you can kind of see the green dots. Perfect. So now you're seeing all these green dots. And of course, all these green dots are individual transactions and made up of all these agents on the right-hand side. So what you're going to notice, if I just randomly hover over Terrence, you'll notice, like if you look at this section here, right? These will turn red because these are all the transactions Terrence has been a part of within the last 12 months within this area. So we can kind of find agents that are doing the type of business we want within the area that our clients might be looking to move to. Of course, once again, we come over here, we can sort it. And let's say we want to sort it by, buy sides. And now we're going to see Jill. She is sorted by buy sides. So she has had 113 buy sides over the last 12 months. So keep in mind, this list here, this is based upon their transactions within the last 12 months. It's not their transactions within this area. It's total transactions. So within this area, she has one or more transactions and she is the highest rated one based upon buy sides. We can expand each agent, right, to get a little bit more information about them. Here's just their name or their team name, their phone number, their email, and all of their pertinent information. If we click on their name, this is going to take us to that profile that we talked about at the beginning. And here you can see Robert, he just has done nothing with his profile. He has his social media links, but we don't know anything about Robert. So let's click on Julie. Let's see if she has any info. Nope, she doesn't either. We'll give one more person a shot here. Let's do John. All right, 3 for 3. I stopped clicking when I strike out 3 times. But you would be able to dive into their profile and read whatever biography information they provided about themselves. But let's say we get to a situation and we like Blaine. We're looking at Blaine's info. We think Blaine's awesome. We want to add him to our referral network. Well, that's where these buttons on the right-hand side come into play. If we click the little contact card with the plus, this sends him an invitation to join our referral network. So that way, if he accepts, he would appear on our dashboard and he would appear within our My Network map. But let's say we want to send Blaine a referral directly. Well, that's where the second button on the right comes into play. When we click the button on the right, this allows us it automatically selects Blaine, and then we come in and we start to plug in our referral information. And we're going to take a quick moment to just quickly walk through this. It's pretty basic. It's pretty self-explanatory, honestly. But across the top, we tell him what kind of referral lead is it? Is it a buyer? Is it a seller? Is it a tenant? Is it a landlord? Maybe I have a family member that lives in New Orleans and they're looking to sell their property. So I'm just going to, facilitate him finding a listing agent, right? And I want to make sure it's a Keller agent. Here I would designate what is the referral fee that I have an expectation from Blaine, right? I can go as little as none or as high as all of it. Obviously, no one's going to accept a referral fee of 100%. So standard referral fee, a lot of times, depending upon, is anywhere between 25 and 40%. It obviously depends on what you want to do. If you have more questions on what you should charge from a referral fee perspective, those are great opportunities for you to sit down and talk with your TL within your market center or other experienced agents on what makes the most sense. Generally what we see is the higher price of the house, sometimes the lower the referral fee, but definitely do your due diligence. Below this is the acceptance deadline. So imagine this is you've shared a referral to Blaine, and then he has a certain amount of hours to accept that referral before it comes back to you. So this gives you that, a little bit of juice. So that way you're just not blindly sending out a referral and waiting for him to accept. You can designate what that deadline is. It can be as little as an hour or as long as 96 hours for him to accept that referral. Good rule of thumb is probably anywhere from 12 to 24 hours, just to give someone an opportunity to go through and accept it. Price minimum and max is just going to be what you believe the minimum price range and the maximum price range of the listing, of the buyer, potentially of what the tenant is doing or what the landlord is doing, just to give them an idea of how, valuable this referral is in a sense. Valuable is probably not the right word. But what they can kind of expect. And then of course, a little note, a little message to them, maybe detailing some information about said referral. All this information above the yellow line, right, above this yellow block, is going to be publicly available to Blaine. He's going to be able to review this information before he accepts the referral. He does not actually get the referral's name, contact information, anything like that until he accepts the referral. So that is what's contained within this yellow block here. So when you want to share the contact information of your client, of your family member, of this referral that you're sharing to Blaine, for instance, here is where we would put in either select it from our current database if they're already in. So I would use Marshall as an example because it's a fake one. So here I could select Marshall. It plugs in all his information. I could put in the client's address. especially if it's pertinent to a listing. Here is, where is the client looking for? And you know what? We can just do New Orleans, right? This is his desired area, location, and any information here within. Email address is required when you're sharing out at least the client through a referral. Cell phone is preferred as well, so that way they can actually call, but you at least need to provide an email address. And then your transaction timeline doesn't pertain to anything other than this is when the client is looking to transact. They're looking to transact by, maybe May 31st, right? They're looking to sell this house by May 31st. And if we're happy with all this information, we're going to go ahead and just click send. Now I'm not actually going to send a referral to Blaine. We'll actually create a referral that I'll send to my referral network just so you guys can kind of see that process a little bit fuller. But I just kind of quickly wanted to walk you through this process. It's pretty simple. Now, one of the things you'll notice from this screen is up at the top, we have this thing called broadcast referral. And you'll notice it's grayed out. Well, what broadcast referral allows us to do is send the same referral to a group of agents. So let's see if we can't zoom in a little bit further and see if we can't get to a point where we can broadcast a referral. Okay, perfect. I think you got to be around under 30. I don't know the exact number, but I think it's under 30. And once you're under that total, if you click broadcast referral, this allows you to share this referral to all 25 of these listed agents at once. And whoever claims it first gets it. So there's really not a huge difference between sending a referral directly to an agent versus broadcasting it to a bunch of agents, other than this top section here. By default, when you broadcast out a referral, it does hide your name. They will not know that it is coming from you. If you want them to, you can click show my identity, and they'll know in this case that it's coming from Joshua Boatman, right? It's coming from me. But if you're broadcasting one out, you can hide your identity. So all they will see is the referral information, and they will not get the client information or know it's coming from me until they are the one that accepts it. The reason for that is we're trying to provide you a little bit of protection, in a sense that if you were to ever broadcast a referral and someone doesn't get it and it was a really attractive referral, we're trying to prevent them from picking up the phone and calling you saying, hey, I saw you try to send me a referral, but when I tried to click it, it didn't get it. Did someone else get it? What's going on? And trying to prevent you from getting 20 of those phone calls and or emails and or text. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. Now that we've talked about broadcast referral, let's actually talk about if this is actually something you should ever use. My personal opinion is no. I would never take a client and broadcast out a referral. Part of my mind with the referrals applet and the information we provide, it's supposed to provide you an ability to actually have conversations with that referring agent. Right? Finding the right agent for your client is paramount in this business. And it gives you an opportunity to fill them out and to build that relationship, right? It's hard to build a relationship when you're just broadcasting something out to 25 people, right? But if you take the time and you pick up the phone and you call, Lana, right? You call Lana Hunt, you pull up her profile. And I struck out again. I was hoping there'd be profile information there. But you pull up, you give her a call, you kind of talk to her and you say, hey, I have this referral, you look like, you do the kind of business I do. I like your profile, whatever it is, you fill them out. You build that relationship versus just broadcasting something out to 25 people. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. Of course, within this, you can always search within this result. So you can always type in, say Lana's name, and then she can rise to the top if we know she sells within this area. To the right, we do have our filter option, and our filters just kind of let us kind of dig a little bit deeper. Are they a luxury specialist? We can try to filter by that. Do they have a certain number of closed units, sold units, buy sides? Is there something of importance here that we want to take advantage of to locate? So if we click apply filter, there's only actually 3 agents that have that luxury designation. And maybe that's important to us because this is a luxury property. We want to make sure that they're being taken care of. So pretty basic, pretty simple, but still pretty cool and pretty valuable. So now let's jump into some of these other quick map options. So here we have market centers. So if we click market centers, what this is actually going to do, it is going to map every market center in the entire, I was going to say the world, but in the entire country, right? So here we can see there are 3 market centers here, and we're going to see who is a member. There's 763 agents scattered across all of these market centers that are showing. So what's the value of this versus looking by production? Well, let's say an agent is a part of a particular market center. So you can kind of drill in and you can kind of sit there and say, you know what, I'm looking for someone in the Pigeon, in this market center, right? There's only 5 agents, so I can quickly locate them. Whereas if I go to another market center, there we go, let's say down in here, we can click on here, and actually no agents are showing up in here. So none of them have opted into the referral network. Interesting. But you can quickly go through and locate an agent by market center and be like, oh yeah, Diane, that's who I want to talk with, right? See if at least she put up a little splash on the back screen of theirs. Good for her. Kind of like her logo. That's nice. And then we could send or build a referral network for Diane. So it's kind of just a quick, pretty cool thing. You can actually, as you scroll out, what's really interesting when you get further and further out, and I just kind of like to go a little further, kind of just shows you just how amazing, our network is, right? Because look at all of these market centers scattered across the country, right? Just kind of gives you those goosebump feelings. And I think I might have broke it. Hold on. Let me refresh this real quick. Sometimes I scroll in and out too much and it just, it's trying to map everything. And sometimes I break it. Yes, well, let's do this. Since I broke it. Oh, is it coming back? No, hold on. Let me just log back in. All right, let's just jump back into referrals. All right, so the other sections within the map that I quickly want to take a quick moment to talk about is actually going to be the referral patterns. Now, referral patterns are a pretty neat thing we have within Command. So if we click referral patterns, we can absolutely see, based upon market center, so my market center is in Miamisburg, Ohio, here I can actually see where the referrals are going, right? So people are moving from Miamisburg to Cincinnati, Miamisburg to Beaver Creek, 4%. And this is over the last 12 months. So this is kind of a neat thing where you can kind of see based upon referrals placed within the referrals applet. So these are just Keller Williams transactions that have been shared from within the referrals applet, right? These are outbound referrals. So you can kind of see what your market center and where people on agents are sending outbounds, right? But what's really, really neat, we can click received. So this is sent, right? We can see where they're sent and we can click received. So now we can actually even see where inbound referrals are coming. So we can see people from San Antonio, Texas are moving to Miamisburg, Ohio. Agents in that market center in San Antonio, in that area, they are sending referrals at a high rate, 6%. It's pretty good over the last 12 months to Miamisburg. Here we can see Worthington, Ohio is getting those same type of referrals. Why is that valuable, you might ask yourself? Well, think of it like this. Not that we have an issue right now with listing selling, right? I don't know if you know this or not, but listings are selling pretty quickly. But what's really valuable about this, at some point in the future, the market may shift, right, as it tends to. And you can absolutely, advertise a listing maybe via a Facebook campaign. If you have a listing in the Miamisburg, Ohio area, you may advertise a Facebook campaign to San Antonio, Texas, right? And then that way people, it looks like people are moving from San Antonio there. So why not advertise your listing, right? Potentially advertise, multiple listings. What I really like about this piece is these are things that I would talk about on a listing presentation, right? One of the things that we always talk about when you go on a listing presentation, right? All agents are going to do 90% of the same thing, right? They're going to say, oh yeah, I'm going to put your house in the MLS. I'm going to have an open house. There's going to be flyers. Oh yeah, it's going to be on realtor.com, right? Y'all basically do 90% of the same thing. It's that 10% that differentiates yourself, right? So imagine sitting down with a client and being like, hey, on that listing presentation, do you think your house would sell to an out-of-town buyer? Well, check out what I can do with the referrals applet and the technology within Command. I can figure out who's moving into the area, what cities they're moving into, and then I'm going to run specific Facebook campaigns on your listing in those areas to try to generate buyers outside of the area, right? Does that mean you're actually going to sell it to an outside person? Probably not, but it sounds really good. And a lot of times in sales, right, it's all about perception, right? It's you doing everything you can do to maximize the exposure of this listing. And I think this is a great piece of technology to show just that. And then, of course, the last tab we'll jump to on the right-hand side is the My Network. And this is just going to be the quick breakdown of what we saw on the dashboard. This is just a list of our referral networks, right? And if I want to send Rachel, actually, you know what, we'll send Rick a referral. We can plug all this information in. I just want to show you quickly how this works. So we'll do the acceptance deadline as 12 hours. We'll say it's 65,000 to 125,000. He is the brother of my girlfriend. We can then go through and select him from our database. If he doesn't exist, we can create him as a new contact, which will place him in the in my database. So this is going to be John Hines, and he is pre-approved. He wants to live in Bowling Green, and he's looking to transact, let's say by the end of the month. And we'll just throw in a bogus email address, jh@kw.com. And I should just put fake on here just so Rick knows, because Rick is an actual actively selling agent. I don't want him to think that I'm sending him a referral. And then we add contact and send. So now what happens for Rick? Rick gets notified that there's a referral for him to accept. If I go to the dashboard, here you can see I have one pending referral out there, right? It's sent, and this is the countdown, right? It's going to count down and let me know how long Rick has to accept that referral. Now, the one thing to keep in mind, once you send this referral, you cannot unsend it until it counts down. You have to wait for it to expire. You can't tell Rick, like you can't say, oh, I don't want to send it to Rick anymore. I want to send it to someone else. You can, you have to wait for it to expire, or you could call Rick and ask him to cancel it. So be careful when you send out that referral, right? I liken this to, hey, once you swipe on someone on Bumble, right, you can't undo the swipe. That's not fair to them, right? So keep that in mind. And then the only other thing I quickly want to mention, that even though within this referrals applet, we've designated the referral fee, the price range, all that good stuff, right? You have a way of tracking everything. You have your updates. You have all these different things. I still highly recommend that whatever you do also send over a signed referral agreement, right? That dictates this information. Because while I can never imagine a world where a Keller Williams agent would never follow that agreed upon referral fee, it's always good to have that piece of paper just to make sure you cross your T's and dot your I's, right? That is an important thing. So definitely, if you're looking for that kind of paperwork, talk to your TL. They should be able to point you in the right direction to have a piece of information that you can then share and get signed via DocuSign, so that way you guys are both on the same page. That, for the most part, is my referrals class. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing the screen. As I kind of previously mentioned in the beginning, this is a pretty quick class. The referrals applet isn't overly complicated, but it's a really powerful tool. So are there any questions, concerns, criticisms, compliments? Anything at all? Anything you guys want me to dive deeper into with the referrals applet? Now's your chance. Well, if you have any further questions after this class, one of the first things I would always recommend you do is reach out to your MCTT, your Market Center Tech Trainer. They basically do what I do at the regional level, they do at the Market Center level. They're your go-to for your technical questions and command resources. If you do not know who your MCTT is, definitely ask your TL and your MCA, and they should be able to point you in the right direction. Beyond that, I'm going to go ahead and throw my email address in the chat. And feel free to email me if you have any questions or concerns as well. And outside of that, I hope you all have a great Friday and you have a phenomenal weekend and you sell a bunch of houses. Take care.